Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're covering Halloween 4. So I'm going to try to get all these Halloween films done and reviewed before the 13th. So we're on one of my personal favorites. I enjoy the first 7 of these films a lot. Even Halloween 6 I enjoy. So I'm very positive in this film, but let's get into some background things, like production wise. And so after Halloween 3 failed because Micheal wasn't in it, even though it's still a really amazing film to me, it's kick-ass. I talked about how batshit insane it is, but it is still a great movie. But it was not what people wanted, so for 6 years, Mustafa Akkad waited for the script to be picked up by the right director. And in '88, I believe in February is when they started filming, and they started the production. And this film was released in October, so that's about, what, a 9-month production period? No. Some along the lines of that. Yeah. And basically, on a budget of $5 million, when it released on October 21st, 1988, it made $17.8 million. It grossed that, and that's, they got more. They get the budget back and more. $12 million more. So $12.8 million more in the budget. This film, a lot of people try to complain and say, it's a big rehash of the original Halloween, which I can get, because it kind of is. Some story beats are repeated, but there was this interesting idea they were setting up. But let's talk about the phenomenal Danielle Harris. So Jamie, our main character in this film, Halloween 5, she's the daughter of Laurie Strode, and for being a younger actress, she's great in these films. It's pretty sad how they did her character in Halloween 6, but we'll get into that when we review that film. But actually, it's really cool. Rob Zombie brought her back to play a character in his remake, which we'll talk about that film too in a few days. But yeah, just overall, she does great, and they didn't get. Of course, I'd like to argue that until H2O, if you're just going off Halloween 1 and 2, Jamie, which is her character's name, she is definitely the better character. Now, when you get Laurie in H2O, you really see how great she is. So, but for now, I'd say out of the two, she's the better protagonist. I also really like her older sister, foster sister. I like her foster sister, Rachel, really good, who's played by Ellie Cornell. She does really good, very protective. She's great in this one, and I think that she would have been great in Halloween 5 if they wouldn't have killed her off. That film. I enjoy Halloween 5, but there's just a lot of stuff I want to get into when we talk about that film. Especially the stupid cop, the clowns. The cops that have the clown sound effects. Just that, yeah. And of course, Donald Pleasence comes back for he's more unhinged in this one. Compared to, as Micheal survived the fire. So, now time to talk about the timeline. So, at the end of Halloween 2, Micheal, he burned up in that fire. That Loomis, they blew them up, and Micheal was going towards Laurie, and he fell over, finally, after being on fire. But he survived the burns. And fun fact, in the first part of this film, he's played by Tom Marga. And that guy played Roy Burns in Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Which is kind of a little cool connection between these franchises. And this film, Halloween 4, it came out, the last Halloween film, it came out in '82, so this was a 6-year time period between them. So in that time, Friday the 13th had became, the big slasher, besides Nightmare on Elm Street, because by '88, the Dream Master was already out, so Freddy Krueger was the biggest slasher character in the whole, in the genre, a pop culture icon, and Jason was even above Micheal. People still love the original Halloween, but it had been dormant for so long, and this film, brought him back. But still, I think he still had to compete with the Dream Master. I believe the Dream Master probably blew this film out of the water. I don't know the actual number for the Dream Masters, but box office. But I believe it's probably bigger than this one. But that's not to say I don't like this movie. But I've always been more of a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, so I'm gonna say that film's better. But I do enjoy Halloween 4 a lot. So back to the whole timeline part. So basically, Micheal survives that, and he's being taken by these paramedics to a new place, basically. Since he's been, he hasn't attacked anybody, they're moving him to a different type facility since he hasn't been violent. So then they talk about how he has a niece, and Michael hears that, you know, he still has family around because his whole goal is to kill his family. And he wakes back up and kills them, and then we just follow Jamie, and it kind of like keeps him the same story beat to the original. And, you know, I believe, what was it, Danielle Harris was 10? She was like 10 when she played this character. It was great acting. I couldn't act like that personally when I was 10. So, and this kind of cool idea they set up at the end of the film, I'll get into this part, that after they shoot Michael up and she touches his hand, because what happens is, Michael's mask looks stupid in this, but like, we'll talk about that in a second. But she ends up touching his hand after he got shot up, and they think some psychic connection built between them. And in the film, we see her stab her foster mother with a pair of scissors. And Loomis sees it and he's freaking out, like, you know, not again, kind of thing. We don't actually find out if, like, I believe it's explained in part 5 that she didn't kill her foster mother, but the whole idea they were going to, I think it would have been cool if they went with it, is that the evil passed from Michael to Jamie. And that would have been interesting, but they ended up not going with that, so. The ending's still cool in this one, though. I wish Halloween 5 would have explained that better, but yeah, I digress. But back to the look of Michael Myers. That's one thing I will say. I hate the way that Michael Myers looks in this film is just terrible. Even though the alien mask in Halloween 5, that really weird alien-looking thing, I love that mask a lot more. At least then it has like some aspect of the Michael Myers mask. This one just looks. The hair is just. I can't describe it. It's kind of sad too because Halloween 1 and 2 both had really great masks and stuff. Especially because the first Halloween 1 had the best of the franchise. I'll say the only mask I really like in this franchise is Halloween 1, 2, Halloween 6, and Halloween 2018. I like those. I don't like any of the other ones. I think H2O has some bad looking masks, honestly. And I'll get into that when we get to there. But, yeah. Halloween 6, though, I'm really excited to talk about that one because there's stuff I love about that film, honestly. Especially the look of Michael Myers. But, so. Yeah, but I will say that George P. Wilbur doesn't do that bad a job as Michael, because he does. But I think he does better in The Curse of Michael Myers because he plays him in both. But it's kind of cool to see like all these different actors. I mean, like pretty crazy. Roy Burns, actor, you know, turned out to be, you know, Michael too. At least in the beginning of the film. And also, I want to shout out Eric Peterson. He played Michael in a flashback for young Michael, and. Yeah, just, again, like I said, Donald Pleasance is great in this. He's always great as this character. Always great. And I'm glad they got him back to do these sequels. So we got about 5 films with him as one of the characters. He's great, though. It's crazy that we still talk about him, 30 years after Donald Pleasance's death in 1995. He's still a legend of the Halloween community. And he's my favorite character of this franchise, honestly, so it's good to have him back. I think that the way this film ends, before like Michael falls into a hole, he just, you know, he gets shot up by these, like, you know, Illinois Minutemen and some police officers that are alive. They just shoot him up and he's shot to pieces. And that sets up Halloween 5, where the opening is he goes down this like river looking thing and like lands in a hermit's little hole or something, and the hermit nurses him back to health or something for a year. You know, it gives him basically just gives him a place to sleep for a year, and then he kills him. So, yeah. Overall, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, is a good Halloween film. It is not my favorite. It is probably top 4. Like I said, the first 7 films I love. I honestly really enjoy the first 7 films of this franchise, but then I just, you know, of course, like, Resurrections, it's ass. Rob Zombie's remakes, they're just. I actually prefer the second remake over the first. I think the first is mediocre, and the second one's kind of decent. But I think I like how he tried something new, so I'll respect that. And Halloween 2018 through Halloween Ends, I dislike Halloween Ends, and I kind of dislike Halloween 2018. I do enjoy Halloween Kills though. As I like this Michael going around like rampaging. That's so. that's why this is not my favorite franchise of the big three. I do enjoy this franchise, but I actually like 8 films of this franchise, like them, and then A Nightmare on Elm Street. I enjoy like about 8 of those films, basically. Yeah. And then Friday the 13th, I enjoy what? 12 of them? 11 out of the 12. Besides Jason Goes to Hell. And yeah, I enjoy every Nightmare on Elm Street film besides that remake. So yeah. So that's why Halloween is below them. But still, I do enjoy these first 7, really. And I'm glad we're getting to talk about them. So next episode will be Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I always got these confused. Return and Revenge. But till the next one, I love you guys. Take care. Stay blessed. Christ loves you. I love you. See ya.